Alex, obviously a lot of energy outside the arena, people getting excited for this first home game. What's your reaction to seeing that and the excitement?
Yeah, absolutely. I was getting my morning breakfast today, and someone in the cafe come over, and they're like, "Oh, we're so excited!" And you just feel it. So yeah, can't wait. We can't wait to get out there and meet the home fans and really build an identity that this team and the whole community will be proud of.
Sarah, Emily, and Megan questionable tonight. Do you have any further update at this point on that?
Yeah, they're going to be a game time decision. So once they come in, our performance team will get a look at them, and we'll see.
You know your starters yet, or you're waiting to see still?
Still waiting. Yeah, still waiting to see. Yeah.
What
Just the BBC will be available. I know that's obviously something everyone's ready to see. So excited to take a look at BC tonight.
Just game plan wise, you had a lot of foul trouble the last game. Kelsey Plum's one of the best at drawing fouls. How do you kind of stay disciplined in limiting her ability to draw fouls?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Kelsey in general is obviously a unique offensive talent. So I think really important. It's not just the foul drawing. I think it's more some other things like she led the league last year in rejects. So that's going to be really important with our pick and roll coverages in terms of how we make sure we're sending her to the picks, not conceding those. I think I'd say I'm less worried about the fouls, Brendan, as opposed to making sure we win the possession game tonight. So I think the battle of the boards is going to be a key for the game. We saw it in Seattle where the defense, if you took out the fouling, which obviously got them to the line a lot, and the defensive rebounds, I was really happy with it. But obviously, those are two really key themes. So we're really looking to see if we can be more purposeful tonight in terms of how we keep them off the O glass. I think they got some good offensive rebounders. Cam Brink, really good rebounder. So good challenge for us.
You mentioned Cam Brink, obviously not one of your players, but someone who's being able to come back as a professional and play in the city she grew up in. How cool is that to, have that opportunity happen on the other side?
Yeah, really cool. I think the thing that I'm most excited about is more the matchups and how we throw some things at them, and just seeing how we kind of framed it to our players. A great chance for some of our younger players to step up, guard some key matchups tonight, and take a look at that.
What other adjustments do you want to see in tonight's game from the last game in Seattle?
Yeah, so we really spent the last two practice days putting a lot more focus on our offense. I think it's kind of a lot of training camps, the defense gets a lot further ahead than the offense. So, really just sharpening up some of our coverage solutions. So, we know we're going to see drop again tonight with their fours and fives. So, I'd like us to be more intentional, creating advantages out of the drop coverage, especially just our off-ball principles with our cutting and all of that. I actually thought our spacing was really good in the last game. I thought you could see a clear structure there with how we were using the dunker, the two and the three sides, which was really nice to see. But I think now the next level to that is how can we make the most of the great spacing, but then have clearer cover solutions. So that's going to be one of the things offensively. And then the other thing would be when we see that we don't have the advantage, how can we get back to the next action within 3 seconds? So as opposed to staying stuck in a bad shape, how can we get back to one of our known spacings and get back to dominoes from there?
You mentioned you mentioned last game how or before last game how you would come in just with around just one play and working with that play and getting used to it. Is today more of implementing more concepts, or is it kind of like the same as the first game?
It's the exact same. It's instead of doing more, it's double down on what we have and do it even better. So look more at the details and the specific details of spacing, timing, positioning, cover solutions, because any play we add, it's not going to work and it's not going to be effective until you have the basics down. And I think we've got to be really, really clear where out of all the shapes that we use in our offense, the shapes, the spacings that you see, until we can really pick apart any cover and it really transfers very well to 5-on-5, to me, it makes no sense adding more because, any play, the way I view offense, the way I view a playbook is you want to avoid being in a random spacing that you haven't practiced. So I really don't believe in having like a random playbook and just having tons in there for the sake of it, but just having the most streamlined, intentional collection where everything ends in something we've practiced over and over and over again.
When were you last in this arena, professionally, and what's it like having this be your home? now.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was actually this past season when I was still with the Cavs. So when we played the Blazers away, but obviously, yeah, completely different now coming into this. I think really we just want to play a brand of basketball that the fans can get behind and they can be proud where, when they stick the TV on or they come to a game here at Moda, they can actually recognize what we're trying to achieve. And there's a purpose behind what we're trying to do offensively and defensively. It's not just random principles. It's an exciting way to play. And it's a way that, it's a way of playing that we think the fans will really get behind and enjoy supporting the team.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the game.